Welcome to Sisters Connect, a podcast that celebrates the amazing sister friends that I admire and who keep me inspired. I'm your host, Kimberly Sumter.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Ladia Joyce, host of Die Empty, the podcast. Cultivating sisterhood is so important to me. Through shared experiences, honest conversation, and genuine connections, we can inspire each other to live authentically, to live boldly, and to embrace every aspect of ourselves without reservation. Sisterhood provides a sanctuary where we can celebrate our triumphs, navigate our challenges, and hold each other accountable to our dreams and aspirations. It's a bond forged through mutual respect, empathy, and a deep understanding of the complexities of womanhood. In this sacred space, we not only find solace and strength, but also discover the beauty in our collective power. That's what sisterhood is to me.
Thank you so much, Ladia, and thank you for joining me for episode number 66 of the Sisters Connect podcast. I had the honor to serve as the media host for the third annual Women in Wellness Summit at Keene University here in New Jersey. Now, this year's theme was intentional living, and I had the opportunity to speak to some of the panelists and attendees to hear about their biggest takeaways from the event. My conversation began with Iyanna Anderson, founder of Well Together, and she shared her hopes for how women would feel during and after the event. Now, it's time to connect.
I want them to feel empowered with the information they gained here, maybe even just clarity that they also gained around their goals or their vision for intentional living, to be able to know what a next step might be, or even have connected with someone in the room to be able to support them or hold them accountable. But the word is empowered. Well Together, we're a wellness consulting company. We specialize in providing educational experiences centered around mental health for organizations and schools to support their communities and the people that they serve in, enhancing mental health literacy. So helping people to understand what mental health is and also ways to navigate tools, skills, resources to navigate their mental health journeys. The Women in Wellness Summit is really, for one, representation, to have people who look like us speaking on topics that relate to our well-being. But then also, to that point, holistic wellness. So wellness is, lots of times we look at it from the physical dimension, but there's so many other dimensions of wellness that matter, right? And impact our well-being, like financial, environmental. So wanting to bring light to those things as well too. And then finally, community. So as I mentioned before, letting people know that they are not alone in their journeys, right? It's more than likely that someone else has experienced something else, something that you are currently going through or something that you've experienced. So really wanting to shed light on that. So that's overall what the Women in Wellness Summit is about and what inspired me to create the Women in Wellness Summit. So very excited.
I am Jamie Watkins. I'm the CEO and founder of My Piece of Happy, and I'm all things community, love, empowerment, wellness, and purpose are my expertise. My business model is We Grow Better Together. That's what this symbolizes. Growing better together as a community of women that are focusing on the same things, like-minded, right? We all want to focus in on our wellness and our intentional living. So I'm just honored to be able to participate in this event. Shout out to Iyanna, who has facilitated everything with her team. And I'm just honored to have the opportunity to connect.
All right, so you're bringing everything together. You're sitting on panels, you're facilitating, you're hosting, you're doing a lot of different things. What are some of the things that have really hit home for you?
Definitely gratitude, because that's near and dear to my heart. So when I heard that said, I'm just right there, an intentional reminder of how important gratitude is. I like to practice active gratitude, which is not just saying or writing what you're thankful for, but it's actually putting action behind intentional effort to show appreciation for that thing or person. And so that really poked me again, the importance of gratitude. Thank you makes room for more. And the second thing I would say, the mindfulness, the importance of mindset, because as we think, right, and believe, that's how we show up and reflect in our communities and for ourselves.
Or what are going to be some of the things that we can be looking out for from you?
Definitely leaning into the speaking, yes, all things purpose and wellness. And I help women to write their stories. And so I have quite a few authors lined up to come out this year who have entrusted me, because it is just an honor that they even trust me with their story to release it into the world, because our stories are more than just for us. Somebody needs to know like how we got through that and that it can get better.
Hi, my name is Sue. I am a patient education liaison. I'm a registered nurse, and I work for Alnylam Pharmaceuticals. And we do one-on-one family educations. We go out into the community. We do community events like these. We're so blessed to be able to come out to the community. And in churches, we have groups together. We do dinner events, too. So if you go on our website, www.hatttrbridge.com, you can find out about a dinner event in your area. That would be great. We'd love to have anybody come out who would like to learn more about HATTR amyloidosis. This is also a disease state that does affect the African American community predominantly. So I love to be able to get this information out to people because then they're going to be informed about it. They're going to be advocates for their own disease state.
And why was it important for you to be at this summit today?
I am a woman, and being here, I've learned, I was thinking to myself, if I wasn't here as a sponsor, I would love to be here as a participant. I just love the women empowerment. I love the energy.
Is there something in particular that resonates with you that for yourself, for your own well-being, that you think could be something that you might be incorporating into your life based on something that you heard today?
I definitely feel that. I love the thought of journaling. I'm very good at buying journals, but not very good at writing in journals. So just listening to what she said, and I think, anything could become a habit, and that's something I want to do. Like I said, I bought one today. My friend Kathy here said that she's going to be my accountability partner to make sure I do it, which I definitely need in my life. I just love that I am enough.
So we're at the 3rd Annual Women in Wellness Summit. Intentional living is the focus for today. Someone amazing was just on the panel, Raquel, and we have her here right now. And one thing that really resonated with me was the way that you broke down diversity, equity, and inclusion. Give us that breakdown.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, better known as DEI, right, is, if you break it down word by word, diversity is the differences that we all have. No two people are the same. We're different based on race, ethnicity, culture, gender, sexual orientation, ability, so on and so forth. Then you have equity. Equity is fairness or justice. So basically, you can't treat people the same because people are not the same. So for example, if someone has a disability and they can't really walk well, they use a wheelchair, then you wouldn't expect them to walk from the back or push their wheelchair from the back of the parking lot to the front. That just wouldn't be fair. So this is why they have accessible spots in the front of venues, right? And then inclusion is what allows people to feel valued and respected, right? So all three are really important. Those are values that people hold within themselves and organizations and institutions hold.
So why did you decide to get into this work and for you to be an advocate for other people?
Yeah, so DEI became popular, if you will, around 2020. But I mean, I'm a Black woman, I'm a queer woman, I have the immigrant experience, so on and so forth. So I understand what it's like to be quote unquote different and to not be treated and honored with value and respect, right? And that's in so many different spaces, the educational space, the workspace, the healthcare space. And I'm a mental health professional, so I see how that shows up and how it leads to all kinds of health inequities. So I was like, okay, I'm a representation for DEI because I can speak from personal experience in how I wasn't always treated well, right? And if I can bring my personal and professional experience to the table, then it resonates on a whole nother level with people.
All right, absolutely. And we've had 2 panels. We've had some really great panelists who are speaking about so many amazing things, dropping so many gems. Is there something in particular that's resonated with you, something that you want to take for yourself so that you can really be intentional about your own well-being?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is really the self-care piece, right? And just like going beneath the surface of self-care and truly making sure that I am good. I serve my community all the time, and it's taxing, it's exhausting. So I have to always make sure that I'm being creative and open-minded and flexible with my own self-care to make sure that I'm good. Always make sure that you use your voice and use your voice for good, right? Like a lot of people do not use their voice for good, unfortunately. So speak up, speak confidently, and make sure that you touch people in a positive way.
So welcome, Terrell. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got here to the summit today.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Kim, for having me on your podcast. I'm really honored to do that, first of all. And I have to say, this Women Wellness Summit is phenomenal. I met Iyanna maybe 2 years ago in the park in Newark, Ivy Hill Park. She was actually vending and showing everybody about her business well together. And we just had a conversation and it was just so beautiful. And I said, I would love to stay in contact with you. So ever since then, she's been in contact with me and I've been able to support her on her Soul Food series. I was on a panel there and I'm on a panel this time again. And I'm happy to do that. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am known as Coach T affectionately, and today I do have on my red glasses, y'all. Y'all might not see it, but I do have it on, and Kim can vouch for that. Anyway, I'm a blood type lifestyle health coach, and I've done that because of the fact of my own trials and tribulations. I have a book called Embarrassed to Empowered, A Healing Lupus Story, and I really go deeply into what happened in terms of getting that diagnosis and what it started doing in my life, because as a result of hearing a diagnosis, sometimes we don't understand our brain function with regards to our body. So my brain went into chaos. And unfortunately for myself, being in denial, I actually ate. I ate food to comfort the fact of the diagnosis, and I gained over 100 pounds. At a point where my doctor was like, listen, you have to lose the weight, otherwise you'll die. And that's when I felt my turn in life happened. And I started advocating with myself to say, girl, you have to start really eating nutritionally. And that's when I went to find ways to bring down my weight and actually heal this diagnosis that I received from the doctor. And I was able to do that by eating through your blood type. And I've over the years, have helped many, many women do that. I also had a background where I worked for Weight Watchers for 8 years. So I had that coaching and that ability to do that too. So I learned from them, meaning that particular company, what worked well, but then I enhanced it with eating for your blood type. So I have an exclusive formula called the BAM method, which stands for Blood Type Auditing, Nutrition, and Discipline, to help women really get back on track to maintain a lifestyle that they really love so they can have more energy, they be more vital in their lives, they can actually live longer, and they're not debilitated by having dis-ease in their bodies, right? Because there's too many people with diabetes, there's too many people with heart issues, there's too many people having strokes, hypertension, you name it. You know the top 5. We all know the top 5. But what are we doing about it each day to get ourselves on the other side of the victory instead of taking medication? So that's what I'm about. I speak, and like I said, I have the book. So
you launched the book. You were very excited in telling us the story about it. Where can we find the book? And tell us just a little bit of a synopsis about what this entire book is about.
You can find it at my website, livinglovingyouwell.com. You also can find it on Amazon. Okay, but I'll tell you the caveat with coming to my website. You come to the website and get the book. I sign a personal copy. Okay, you go to Amazon, you'll miss that. So I'll just read the back of it to tell you it's a heartfelt, hopeful story of strength and resilience with a warrior spirit to conquer the autoimmune that left her distraught as she began this path. Terrell has combated this battle for 30 years to be able to share the valleys and mountaintops of this healing journey. She went from fatigue, hair loss, weight gain, excruciating pains, surgeries, obesity, a miscarriage, to taking back her power from the doctor's betrayal, her grief, and being invisible. Her success is a 180-degree turn of triumph with avocation, self-development, eating nutritionally, showing others that all is possible with God.
Hi, everyone listening. I am Juliana Londoño, and I am one of the panelists for today. I am a very proud Latina and bilingual and licensed mental health therapist in New Jersey, and also an entrepreneur as a mental health consultant and speaker.
All right. So we had a really, really special moment today where someone felt like they really resonated with you because of your culture and your background. And we just talked about how beautiful it was that you were able to speak out in the space and talk about how important that was to see a representation of yourself. So can you tell us what that meant to you?
Hi, hello. My name is Tasmerilis Herrera. I'm a student here at Kim. I'm actually hosting the event and helping around. I'm one of the volunteers. And honestly, I just feel so happy and I enjoy like every little moment here because just seeing someone from my community makes me feel like, wow, someone out there that is really doing what I would like to do one day for my community as well. because I feel there's so much out there that some girls don't know. And especially if they don't have the guidance to be the person they want to become. Sometimes we need a little push, that little help of inspiration. And this young woman today was that little push.
So you were on the panel. So tell us just a little bit about what you really want to get across to all the women who were here today.
My role is really taking my knowledge, my position of privilege, and making that go beyond a therapy or clinician room, beyond just the therapy section. Meaning, I want to be out in the crowd and speaking to Latinos everywhere on the importance of mental health and how to use mental health as a tool to empower themselves and their lives and future generations. So whether that is keynote speaking engagements, leading workshops, working with K through 12, writing, being a guest on podcasts, being on TV, on radio, getting the message on mental health, specifically when it's someone that looks like you and can speak your language, that is genuinely such a difference. And it really has become something that I'm not only passionate about, but then when I get feedback like here today, it continues to push me to say, okay, what I am doing matters. Representation matters. Juliana, do not stop. Keep going. And I hope to, again, just one day continue to host and be a part of incredible opportunities to elevate the Latino community here in the U.S.
So we're at the third annual Women in Wellness Summit. Intentional living is what we are talking about. This is our theme for today. And I was so inspired by someone who was sitting on the panel that I had to pull over to the side because I really wanted to meet you. This is Monique Williams. She's a licensed clinical social worker. So tell me a little bit about why you're here and how you even got to be a part of the panel for this summit today.
So last year, I was looking for events because I authored my first book. So it's a combination of a workbook and a journal specifically made for Black women. Has 50 different affirmations in it for us, but hearing the things that we don't often hear, like it's okay not to be okay and I'm allowed to rest. And my passion is in supporting and serving Black women. I came across this event looking for opportunities to share the book with people. And I came across it last year, but it was fully booked at the time that I came across it, which was great for everybody else. But I was like, I feel like I really wanted to be there. So I shared my information with Iyanna and I asked her to keep me in mind for this year. And as soon as she started planning, she reached out and here we are.
So what are some of the takeaways? Because I know that you yourself, and I want to talk about some of the things that you talked about on the panel, but I also know that, because there are so many incredible women here who have so many different stories and are dropping so many jewels in the space. But is there anything that has resonated with you that you yourself want to incorporate in your own well-being or your journey that you've learned from some of the other women who are here today?
So actually for me, it was the moment when the young lady let one of the other panelists who was on the panel with me know that she was an inspiration for her and she felt like she wanted to do something similar to her. The people around me, the people in my village, remind me that it's important for me to be seen. I'm someone who's happy to provide the resources and I don't have to be seen as long as I know that they're helping people. But I had to learn, which was reinforced today, that people care about the person behind the resource as well, and that we are representation. And so when a young Black girl sees me as a therapist, and that's not what most therapists look like because we only represent as clinicians of color, 4% of therapists. So it was a reminder for me, what resonated for me was I'm a representative for someone else as well. And you never know who's watching your experience and who's watching your journey and how you may impact their life and them in a positive way.
And I love that conversation, and it kind of, my little heart got full on that. And I actually talked to the both of them because I thought it was very special. I felt the young lady was really brave to be able to open up in the space, to be able to say that openly the way that she did. So I think that's going to be one of those lasting connections, which is so important, how we connect with each other. But you also talked about a little bit about your story as well. And it's really interesting because I've always thought about therapists. Like, do therapists go to therapy? Like, is that a thing? Because you are holding so much for so many people. So do you believe in therapy as well as a therapist? And how does that work? Or is that an odd question?
It's not an odd question. It's actually a really good question because most people don't think about that. I think that a lot of people think that as a therapist, because you are helping everyone else, that you're just supposed to, quote, have it together. But realistically, you are taking in the most challenging moments of people's lives all day, every day. So my opinion is if you are a therapist, you absolutely should have a therapist or some space, even if it's a coaching space or a mentor space where you can be supported. Because if you, again, are not taking care of yourself, then how are you in a position to be your best self for those that you are supporting, but especially for you first, those that you love, and then those that you're supporting. So I have a therapist. She is also a Black woman. She's amazing. I love, love, love her. And I don't know what I would do without a therapist because I need my own space as well. I need somewhere to unpack what I do to support others and the way it affects me. But then I also need somewhere to be able to talk about the reality of me as an individual because I'm an individual before I'm a therapist or a mom or any other role.
I love that. That makes me feel so good because I know you are on point therapist, right? That is good because it's true. We're human at the end of the day. And that can be very hard to absorb all of what everyone else is going through as you're trying to help and provide care for them, but you need to be cared for as well. So in that intentional living, again, that's the theme. How do you make an intentional effort to make sure that you are sourcing yourself to a place where you are getting the rest that you need, that you are feeling good and your mental wellness and your well-being is intact?
Yeah, so there are some very practical things that I do. Like when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is pray. I try to be intentional about praying and in my prayers, being grateful for what I already have and not only asking for things. But then I also do my devotional first thing in the morning. So before I give energy to anyone else, I pray, I do my devotional. Then I drop my girls off at school. I give them my time and attention. I'm present with them. And as soon as I drop them off, I go work out because that's what helps me to relieve stress and to stay grounded and centered. And then as I go throughout my day, I just try to check in with myself. And if I'm feeling tired, I allow myself to say, okay, I'm tired. And then I decide what I'm going to do to take care of that feeling at the time in the day when I have time. But in that moment, I might just take some deep breaths, or I might take a moment to use my resource that I created for others, but learned as I was going through my own life transition that it was useful for me too. So I try to be intentional about making time to take care of myself, because no matter how busy I am, if I don't take care of myself first, nothing else is going to succeed the way it could.
And you have 2 daughters, so they're watching you. And what do you implement together?
So they are 10 and my youngest is about to be 4. She'll literally be 4 in a couple weeks, and you would think she's like 40. They are total opposites. My oldest is a very sensitive child. My youngest is a very independent child. So I'm teaching them things, one, through modeling, because the reality is kids learn so much more from what they see than what we say. But the other thing is I'm teaching them individually according to who they are as people at this time. So like my oldest is super sensitive. I'm teaching her to understand her emotions, to communicate what she needs, and also not to be so focused on other people's thoughts and opinions of her, but to learn her own value according to her lens and not someone else's. And then my youngest, we're working on, she's very vocal, so no problems with her communicating what she wants and what she needs. So we're working on a little bit of balance. Like, you have to be patient, and other people's thoughts and feelings can matter sometimes too. But we're being very intentional about identifying what she feels and what these things mean, so she can have a foundation of understanding that feelings are information.
Feelings are information. I like that. I really like that. And right now I'm talking to, I would like to say, our resident photographer for this event today, Ashley, but she's so much more than that. She's also an entrepreneur as well. So welcome, Ashley, and tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business.
So I'm a Newark native. I currently work with a nonprofit that alleviates poverty, or the goal is to alleviate poverty. I'm their graphic designer. And in addition, I have my own graphic design business, and I mentor young women who also want to get into graphic design. I also take photos at work, and I met Iyanna through work. And she was like, "Oh, can you capture this event?" And I was like, "Oh, this is a wonderful opportunity to capture the event. Although it's not a actual service, it is a hobby of mine. It's for anxiety, so that actually worked out. It's a wellness summit. It helps with anxiety, so it worked out well. And I got a lot of good takeaways, especially in the beginning when they talked about mindset and how you view things. That is very important, especially when life throws you curveballs. One of the panelists, she did the ball toss and all of these extra things started to pile on, and everybody had to juggle still throwing while catching other things. That was a good takeaway for me.
So my experience so far has been nothing short of wonderful. This has been one of the best events I think that we have vended at, very well organized. The energy is great. The women are great. The food was delicious and it was filling. And I chose to be a part of this event because as part of Hello Gorgeous, we are a self-care, beauty, wellness studio. I think beauty and wellness go hand in hand, and self-care. And also it's ran by women, so why not?
How do you intentionally take care of yourself?
That's a great question. As I'm getting older, I'm learning to listen to my body. So if I'm tired, I try to give myself grace. And I think importantly too, I have people around me who are supportive. Like Kyra yesterday reminded me to give grace to others and to give myself grace. I remind myself to slow down. If I feel tired, I rest, and I don't feel guilty about it because at the end of the day, things are going to get done, right? Like it may not get done right now, but it'll get done. Part of what I like to do for self-care too is I like products. And so I like Beauty by Naya's sugar scrub. So when I'm in the shower in the morning, I may take an extra moment to breathe in that scent. That aromatherapy helps. If it's just sitting on the couch and watching ratchet TV and having a glass of wine, that's also self-care for me. And some days it's a lazy Sunday. If we have no appointments, I may feel guilty like, oh my God, nobody booked. But guess what? I get to lay in the bed a little bit longer instead of rushing over.
And right now I'm sitting here talking to LaShonda Tyree. And what is one of the biggest takeaways that you got from today so far?
I decided to attend the Women's and Wellness Summit today because I find myself constantly just doing and never taking the time to take care of me. So far, I have so many little gems that I've picked up, but in my breakout session, I've learned to define what self-care really is. And self-care is really taking care of my hydration, my nutrition, my physical activity, and getting proper rest. And if I take care of those things for myself, then I can take care of everything else around me.
My name is Denise Marshall Mike. I was made aware of the summit by Dr. Consuelo Bonillas. She works here at Kane University. I'm employed here at Kane University as office manager, you could say. And also I've worked as an adjunct professor teaching business and professional communications, as well as a creative rhythm and dance class. What I understand just in life and experiential learning is that we have to actually write what's intentional, to plant those seeds and to make sure those seeds are planted. So in doing that, it's a matter of what we learn and then practicing what we learn. And then the next level would be to make sure we teach others what we learn. And when we're doing that, we have to make sure that we're healed first, or we come from a place where we are healing. So make sure when we do plant, or when we do seek to see a plant grow, that we're giving it what it actually needs. And that's what I got from the different breakout sessions that I had, that people were giving of who they were so that we can heal and get to a better place. And when I come back, hopefully next year for the 4th annual Women's Summit, and hopefully here again at Kane University, that it'll be something where I could actually see the next level of where they are, and I could be at my next level.
Hey sis, thank you so much for being a part of today's conversation. If you want to get more information on today's guest or our previous guests, make sure you visit our website at sistersconnect.com. Until next time, see you soon. Bye.